Most people don't think of Jaws as a cult classic. I do, and I'm going to tell you why. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to Retro Horror School, where we discuss, dissect, and analyze retro horror from the 1970s through the 2010s. It is I, Brandy, otherwise known as the Terrorific Lady, and today we are talking about something that could be considered a little controversial. Can a box office smash blockbuster like Jaws, one of the biggest horror hits of all time, be called a cult classic? Spoiler alert, I say yes. So first, what does cult classic even mean? A cult classic isn't just a movie that bombed or a movie that's really weird and that nobody saw. A cult classic is a film with a very passionate, almost borderline obsessive fan base. One that watches it over and over, quotes the lines from the movie, shares memes, buys merch, and basically turns it into a lifestyle. Think midnight screenings, inside jokes, cosplays, rituals surrounding the film, like watching it once a year on its anniversary. The Oxford Dictionary style definition of a cult classic is a cult film has acquired a dedicated fan base that forms a subculture, often engaging in repeat viewings, dialogue quoting, and audience participation. The term cult film, or cult classic, was popularized in the 1970s, but the behavior existed long before that. Think Nosferatu, think Night of the Hunter, and even Charlie Chaplin. He's not horror, but even Charlie Chaplin had cult appeal. And over time, the definition for cult classic has gotten even fuzzier. Purists will say cult either equals obscure or transgressive. But people like Matt Hills argues cult is in the mainstream now. Even supposedly mainstream films can become cultified by the unfolding consumption of online fans. So yeah, cult behavior has evolved. It's not just for the underground anymore. And Jaws? That movie's got cult classic vibes all over it. Released on June 20th, 1975, Jaws pulled in $477.9 million on a $9 million budget. It was the highest grossing film of all time until Star Wars came along in 1977. It kick-started the modern summer blockbuster. In fact, it invented it altogether. One freaking movie invented the summer blockbuster. It had a massive studio push, but the movie didn't fade into obscurity like other movies. This movie stayed alive through fan obsession. Today, Jaws is more than just a hit movie. People quote it constantly. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. It has merch, fan art, online communities, Reddit threads, podcasts, conventions, and even live orchestra screenings of the movie. People have entire collections of memorabilia surrounding Jaws. Shout out to the Reddit Jaws fans who showcase their memorabilia on full display. Jaws helped inspire Shark Week, which turned into a full-blown cultural event. And Quint's USS Indianapolis speech re-sparked interest in the naval tragedy. And during the pandemic, Amity Island became a meme for bad leadership. Proof that Jaws is still a mirror that could be held up to society and its actions. The movie hit, it stuck, and it created ritual behavior around it. That is a cult classic. And it's not just Jaws. Horror is full of box office hits that became cult classics. For instance, The Exorcist came out in 1973, $441 million in box office take. Fainting in theaters, cultural panic, still considered one of the scariest movies ever made. Scream, $173 million box office take. Reinvented the idea of the slasher. Ghostface cosplays, fan theories, and a franchise that refuses to die. John Carpenter's Halloween, $70 million on a $300,000 to $350,000 budget. Michael Myers is now a full-blown horror icon, and you still have fans to this day debating the Halloween timelines. A Nightmare on Elm Street, $57 million on a $1.1 million budget. Freddy became a full-blown horror icon with toys, rap songs, and lunchboxes. The Blair Witch Project, a massive $248 million on a $60,000 budget. It had people convinced that it was real. It pioneered viral marketing, and it made found footage its own cult horror subgenre. These films didn't need years of obscurity and languishing in the void to earn cult classic status. These films earned the title while making the money. It's the ritualistic fandom surrounding these films, not the financials, that give these films the label of cult classic. Here's the thing. Just because a movie was successful doesn't mean that it still can't be called cult. Cult classic status isn't about how many people watch it. It's about how they watch it. Matt Hill calls these kinds of films, like Jaws and the others that I listed, called blockbusters. He points out that fans of films like these form distinct subcultures inside the mainstream. Cult responses can inhabit the mainstream. Fan devotion and excess and controversy don't have to be loud. They can be lived over time. Academic Emma Pett backs Matt Hills up as well. She gives the example, it's not a horror film, but she gives the example of Back to the Future. It was a massive hit, and it has developed a cult following, thanks to its quotable dialogue and its nostalgia-fueled rewatch culture. So Back to the Future, cult classic. And also think about Halloween movie marathons, viewing parties and watch parties, cosplays, and even how people create a ritual out of watching Jaws every dang summer. So yeah, mainstream films can absolutely become cult. And when it comes to horror, they often do. So, can blockbusters be cult classics? Hell yes, they can. Jaws is proof of this. It may have come out of the gate as a box office juggernaut, but the way people interact with it, quote it, collect it, ritualize it, that is the heart of the cult classic and the cult classic fandom. Do you think that Jaws is a cult classic? Do you think it deserves that title? Drop your thoughts in the comments, or if you have another mainstream horror film on your mind that you think could be considered a cult classic, drop that in the comments as well. Like, share, follow for more retro horror school breakdowns, and stick around for more videos that you might like. Class is dismissed, everybody, for now, but I will see you next time. Bye!